most of the time in relationships, there's always something punitive attached to telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the culture that we cultivate within our relationships. So lots of times your partner cannot be a soft spot to land, even when you want to tell them the truth. And so we don't tell the truth. We avoid the truth. It depends on your personality type. She doesn't, well, one, she seemed like she was determined to be the supportive wife in public. And we don't know whether or not she did say something behind the scenes. But I do think maybe it depends on the life cycle of the trauma. You know, maybe it depends on where she is in that process. Maybe she didn't want to reveal it, because I've been in a situation before where, I mean, my wife, she knew everything I was doing, but you know, she was holding on to it for a while to gather more information. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. And we talked about this before with some my group of people that I talk with. The trauma, and if it warrants you to be in a relationship. Like, if you can't stand up for yourself in a relationship, you shouldn't be there. I think
I agree, but you know, I think one way, just me personally, one thing I try to be mindful of now that I wasn't mindful of before, I try to create an atmosphere that's conducive to communication. Most of the time in relationships, there's always something punitive attached to telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the culture that we cultivate within our relationships. So lots of times your partner cannot be a soft spot to land, even when you want to tell them the truth. And so we don't tell the truth. We avoid the truth. So I agree with what you're saying, but it's like, are we cultivating that? I'm not sure.
And see, that's man, what you're saying is real, but I think it's just when you dig it down deeper, when you start that question, if your person isn't a safe place to land, then that's when you need to start questioning whether that's the right person. Like, if you can't trust it, you can confront or be honest or talk about your insecurities and all that stuff. That's an assessment of your relationship.
Excellent point.
Yeah, that's a so true point. Yeah, I've said this before. People today are more pickier about the food that they eat and consume in the places that they go and sit at and experience than the sharing the most intimate things about what is on your mind with the person. They'll share everything down to their body. You know what I'm saying? People today will share and be picky about food, places they go, and experiences, but they are very willing to, share their body and appropriate with people that they are not, mentally aligned with. And sort of that's the thing that gets me, is that if you got to a point where you can't share what the most intimate things that are on your mind and that's plaguing you, but yet you're sharing and doing all these other things, right? Then you are by far disconnected in that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
That's the easy route. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. But doesn't it depend on what mode you're in? I think once again, speaking for myself, I went years and years being emotionally unavailable. I could be in a relationship, but I was emotionally unavailable. So I could disconnect my emotions from the situation of things. And it didn't matter who the woman was on the other side. I was going to fuck you over. You can be perfect. And this is a real life example. You didn't matter how perfect you were. I was going to get supplemental vagina. I was just in that mode. So I understand what you're saying, and that's a fair point. But I think it depends on the person, and what type of mode you're in.
You know what? That's a really good point, Sean. And the reason I say this is because we all have the right answers when we're not in a bad relationship. Isn't it amazing? Like how we can have all the answers to provide, feedback for other people for what they're dealing with, and then when you're in it, you really can't see all, and you don't have all the answers. And I think that's a testament as to why other people are important, because sometimes you're not aware of how bad you might be or how bad of a situation you're in until somebody who's outside of the smoke you're inhaling can tell you, hey bro, that the air is a little thick. You probably want to get away from that smoke. It's clogging your lungs, right? So I think this is why friends and a good support system and having therapy, things like that make a difference, because you can get stuck in the trying loop where you're trying to make it better. You're trying to change. And you're so stuck trying that you can't see that you're spinning your wheels. And I think this happens for both men and women. So it goes back to, I want to say, Chris Featherson said. So, oh no, I'm sorry, and Luis said, it's about, being with somebody you mentally align with, but then it's also about you being the right person. And I think that if we put more time on making sure that we are the right person and that we're really working on ourselves and we care about the experience the other person has with us, I think that contributes to a more positive relationship as well.
Yeah, but I also wonder what happened to her. Like, she had to have family, close friends, a sister group, whatever the case may be, prior to her getting in a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? There was some sort of supporting background. It seemed like either she isolated her away from them or she never had it.
Now, see, when a woman loves you, bro, she'll give that up if she thinks it's going to get in the way. But this is what I'm saying. A woman's love it's so you got fire, you got earth, you got wind, and then you got a woman's love, right? It is a powerful force.
But it wasn't love. She clearly said it was an exception.
So
it was more of an exception than it seemed than love.
When
you said try to mask the two together and disguise it and market it as love, but deep down, a part of it was an exception.
I think you're assuming her again. We're assuming her feelings. I think she can love someone to the degree in which it becomes an obsession.
Yeah.
I think, and given the context of what he did, I can see. I honestly, like I said, I think this will be. It's extreme, but I can see a woman doing that. I can see a woman noticing that her man is cheating on her, and start to try to compete with the women that he's cheating on her with.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just going to say, because there's no reason for her to have to compete unless she sees that there's competition. So she may have found some things, she may have seen some things, and it's a buildup. And then so by that point, she hasn't fully lost herself. It's like, oh shit, like I don't want to lose them, especially if they got so much time, kids, maybe they had some properties, whatever. They just had a lifetime built,
or let's say it was her strategy. That's how she got her man, and she thought that she could do the same thing to keep him. She got her man by competing with the women. She got married to him, or whatever, because according to the AP, she was doing this to get him. So maybe that was her strategy to try. So she was like, if it worked to get him, it'll work to keep him.
But what are you getting? And I'm gonna go back to what Sir said about a woman's love. If a woman's love is that powerful, that means it needs that much proportional discipline. When you have something that's big, dangerous, you need that much discipline to go with it, or you're gonna hurt somebody, including yourself. You have to be emotionally disciplined before you get into a relationship, and if you can't, you shouldn't be there. And I always say, like, honestly, like, falling in love is dangerous. It is. When you're in love, you can't really see what's going on, like you guys are saying. Sometimes you can't get the proper spacing to really assess what's going on. I think you have to preside over your love to really assess your whole relationship, and that means getting out of your feelings.